إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. You are most welcome to MTA International Africa. We are coming your way once again with Islam and Science, a program where we look at the relationship between Islam and science, where they converge, and what is yet to be discovered by science that Islam have spoken of. Today in the program, we are looking at something peculiar to each and every one of us, what we are made of. How come we look the way we look? And what did we inherit from our parents by way of our physical features? To help us discover more on this topic, we have Dr. Kobina Ejepon Osman of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Doctor, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Abdul Ghafoor Said, a missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Ghana. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, to begin with, Dr. Saib, in science, you have what you people call genetics, and that is supposed to determine how I'm looking today. To broadly explain to our viewers, what is genetics?
Okay, thank you. So genetics is the study of the variation in our physical characteristics that is passed on from one person to the other. So we have something we call genes, and it's sort of the basic structure in our cells that helps to produce our characteristics, our physical characteristics. So these genes are also made up of other smaller structures that we call DNA. So if you think about it, it's the DNA that comes together with other substances, then they form the gene. Then the gene is also boxed together in something we call the chromosome. Okay, and this structure is what carries the characteristics, the way you look, how tall you are, your skin color, your hair color, your eye color. All this is found in the gene, which is in the chromosome of our body.
Okay. Okay. So this, from your explanation, means that the genetics broadly is the study of genes and how they manifest themselves in how you and I
Exactly
are looking right here.
Yes.
Okay. Mualim, what he has spoken about, the genes, is it new to Islam?
Not at all. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. You see, when we talk about science, science is really Islam. So when you talk about genes or genetics, you won't specifically see the elaborations that doctors have given in the Islamic literature, which is the Holy Quran, the holy book of Muslims, that where he's talking about chromosomes and DNA and those kind of things. These will be impregnated in a single verse, and that is left unto man to make sure that he breaks it down. In breaking it down for his own benefit and his own progress, there he will go to know that yes, it is not something new. The formula is already embedded in the Holy Quran. So if you check what he has given to us beautifully, Allah has spoken about it. And he says in the Holy Quran, who created D, then perfected D, then proportioned D aright. Similar to what he says. He said, your features, your height, your eye color, your hair color, your skin color. So you can see, then proportion what D are right. This can be found in chapter 82 of the Holy Quran, verse 8, where Allah has beautifully mentioned this to us, that He created D, then perfected D. The perfection is with how He made you. You are not going to find somebody short of any of the limbs that Allah have created, and you can't get a replica of any of the limbs that will be original like what He gave us. You see, that is the perfection. And the proportion is how you are. For example, as we are seated, 3 of us here, but our height is not the same. So is our skin color, and so is our hair color, so is our eyes. You see, that is the kind of perfection Allah is talking about with His creation. So you can see, as He's talking about the DNA and the other things, same thing, these 3 of us, it won't be the same.
Yeah.
Yes, because we come from different fathers and mothers.
Okay.
Yes. So if you check, Allah continues to say that in whatever form He pleased, He fashioned thee. Whatever form He pleased, He fashioned us. So the decision of the shape and how we look, it is the decision of Allah and not the decision of man.
Okay.
Yes.
So I take 2 key words from what you're saying, in proportioning D and then in fashioning D. You know, if something is being fashioned, it means that there are measures,
Yes.
there are dimensions to it. And so these dimensions determine certain proportions, as you're saying. Does, Dr. Saib, do these dimensions and proportions you talk about have any semblance with the DNA that you spoke about?
Yes, they do, in the sense that for you to come out properly as a human being, there is a set number of chromosomes that you have to have. If you don't have that set of chromosomes, most of the time it will lead to the baby not being formed, and it will lead to miscarriages. Okay. So, for instance, we are supposed to have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Okay. If for any reason you get 20, most babies, such babies will not come out as human beings. Even those who, by any chance, come out with some genes missing or some chromosomes missing, okay, they come with some deficiencies. Wow. So yes, they have to be in the right proportion, like Al-Saib has said, to really be the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, mashallah. So how recent is this knowledge to mankind that we have to have this set of chromosomes in order to...
Yes, so with genetics, yes, it's not too old with us. The father of genetics, Gregor Mendel, okay, he was an Austrian, okay, who lived, he was born around 1822, so in the 19th century. Yeah, so just less than 200 years ago. He actually did some experiment, did some observation, then came to know, okay, there's something he did with plants. So he came to realize, okay, these plants, they are producing same flowers or similar with this one. So he proposed the idea that there could be something that could be causing that. That time he didn't even use the word genes. It was later on in the 20th century that further studies were done, and then that idea of, okay, there could be a genetic material that can be passed from one generation to the other came. So they went back to look, okay, this is what this person was talking about. Okay. So even then, Mendel was being opposed because it was like a new concept to them. People were saying, what this guy talking about? Wow. You know, among the science community, people were opposing him, saying that this is, I mean, because the concept at that time was different. So with time, people did further studies and everything, then they get to know, okay, so this is what this guy talked about, and it's true. And now we have established concepts for genetics.
See.
Just to add to what Dr. Savas just said, so you can see why prophets are being also persecuted. Because the idea, the notion, the foresight that they have and bring at that time to the people, they can't comprehend it. So the only way they can describe you is to say you are mad. Because you are talking about future. And where they are struggling to understand that thing at that time.
Yeah.
And you are talking about something that they cannot even see unless they are generations. So that is why you can see the foundation that has been laid in the Quran 1,500 years ago.
Yeah.
And just discovered by scientists around 200, 300 years ago.
Even though it
So
was still opposed. That is not possible.
That means after that 1,200 years, it was still opposed.
Yes.
Look at how close we are to this thing, but still it's something we are battling with. So this is to tell you what Allah says with His prophets.
Yeah.
If we don't understand it now, it is our duty to be patient and pray rather than trying to argue and fight.
Inshallah. So, Dr. Saib, if we get back to the basic structure, which you mentioned as the DNA, what are these made of? If we want to delve further into understanding what the DNA are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned earlier,
What is their nature?
okay. So the DNA, so every human being, we are made of cells. You know, there are billions of cells that come together to form what we are. And in every cell, there is a central part where we call the nucleus. And inside the nucleus, you get the chromosomes that I'm talking about. So the chromosomes, then when you break it down, you get the genes. Then when you break down the genes further, you get a DNA. So the DNA mixed with other proteins, they form the genes. So if, for instance, your body color has to be produced, these genes help to make the proteins that will help make your body color. Okay. So every chromosome, every person should have 23 pair of chromosomes. Okay. Is this the 23 pair? What we know is that half will come from your father, half will come from your mother for you to form the 23 pair. And this is so, it has to be fixed in the sense that if for any reason 24 comes from your father and 22 comes from your mother, there's a problem. So that is how the basic structures are. Okay. The DNA, there are hundreds of thousands of DNA in a single chromosome. Wow. So you can even imagine the DNA too. The DNA are so many billions of chromosomes, DNAs. Yeah. And the DNA actually is, you can think of it as the building blocks, which it builds up to form the genes. Okay. Then it also adds up to form the chromosome, okay, which eventually helps to produce all the characteristics that we have on our body.
Yeah, often when we see pictures of it drawn, we see some two lines intertwining each other.
So they have to make it two because the chromosomes are paired. Okay. They are paired. So when you are drawing, you have to make it two. And sometimes you see some dots that are connected together. Those are the DNAs. Yeah. So the DNAs are the dots. Then when they go together at some point, then they form the gene. Okay. So, and there are different genes that also come together. All right. And every gene is sort of controlling some specific aspect of your body. So it could be this gene controls maybe the production of insulin in your body. Yeah. And that is what it does. Okay. So that is how...
it means that without this pairing, it cannot be complete.
Without a pairing, it cannot be complete. Like I said, we know of some conditions where those conditions, abnormalities occur because either a gene or a gene has been added or has lost. So this pairing has to be complete for you to have a fully functioning human being. So the pairing is really, really key.
Okay, inshallah. Mualim, this pairing that he's talking about, if it is that key, and you made us aware that the Quran has said it is proportioned, and we've seen it, how it is proportioned and how it is fashioned, is this pairing also spoken about in Islam?
Of course. Just as I said, as Islam is science,
Yeah.
and science takes its formulas from Islam.
Okay.
Whether they acknowledge that or they don't, but that is a fact.
Okay.
Well, what-
Doctor acknowledges that.
Because what they struggle
Yes.
to make and credit themselves as formulas, as scientists,
Okay.
has already been embedded in the Holy Quran. You see, earlier on, Dr. Saab mentioned about the one who discovered the genes. He was trying on plants and other things before even it came to animals. It is not something that is new to the Holy Quran. If you go to chapter 36 of the Holy Quran, that is Surah Yasin,
Yeah.
verse 37,
Okay.
Allah has spoken about this.
Okay.
So, as a Muslim, like let me say, somehow the worldly people will say a practicing Muslim, it shouldn't be something that is mind-boggling.
Okay.
It should be something that is easy for me to understand.
Okay.
That the progress that science makes takes its birth from the Holy Quran. Allah says, "Holy is He who created all things in pair." The word underline is what? Pairs.
Okay.
Of what the earth grows,
Okay.
which the scientist he mentioned has already done test on.
Okay.
That is, the earth grows what? Plants.
Okay.
And of themselves. The one doing the test, he himself
Of we
is
human
created
beings.
in pairs.
In pairs. Okay.
And of what they know not.
Okay.
So just as they have been able to get findings today, tomorrow there will be new findings. But that does not come to sweep away what has been found long ago. It's still maintained. It's a staircase. They climb, they will continue to climb. But that still will get its basis and foundation from what Allah has said in this noble Quran, which is the perfect book, a book that lives today
Okay.
and lives tomorrow. And it is there to help mankind to grow, but not to retard our progress.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are referring to Surah Yasin verse
So
what?
you are seeing that is chapter 38,
36.
36,
Okay.
verse 37.
Okay.
Yes. And he made mention of the pairs being mingling, or
The chromosome.
the chromosomes being
Yes.
intertwined, right?
Mingled.
Yes.
Put together.
Put together.
Oh, doctor, is that not it?
Is that it?
Yeah, so the 23,
Yes.
one has to come from the father,
Yes.
one has to
From
come
the
from
mother,
mother,
yes.
then they come together to form a perfect pair.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So this phenomenon too is not new,
All right.
because it's also talked about in the Holy Quran.
Okay.
Allah has spoken about it, and He says that we have created man from a mingled sperm drop, that we might try him. So we made him hearing, seeing. Have you seen? Just to mention a few.
All right. So you
So-
said we have created man from.
A mingled sperm drop.
Okay.
Just to confirm to what Doctor is saying.
Okay.
So those things that he spoke about are all steps ahead from what the Quran have already given the basis.
Yes.
Yes, so it's a stepping stone they stood on to be able to do other things ahead.
Yeah. And I can see you mentioning some other features that come as a result of that mingling
Yes, which is
There's
the
the
hearing
hearing
and the seeing.
and the seeing.
Yes, Allah just mentioned a few for our understanding so that we will not be left ajar. He just wants us to know that yes, from that mingled sperm drop,
Yeah.
you have hearing and you have what? Seeing
Okay.
and other things
Okay.
that are gifted to mankind.
Dr. Saib, to conclude, let me continue to use the word mingled. So do these mingled chromosomes, like he is saying, is it known in science that they actually do give us certain features like the senses?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Because the way fetuses are formed, when the father gives the pair of chromosomes, the mother gives a pair of, they come together, they form like a lump of blood. Then out of this lump of blood, we know that all the features that we have, our eyes, hearing, and taste, and everything comes from that. Yeah, so the two pair has to come together and mingle to fuse to really create the human being. You can't have only one, like the two pairs all coming from the mother, or the two pairs all coming from the father to form the features that we have. It's not known that way. They have to have two different pairs coming from two different sexes to come together to form all the characteristics that we have.
Yeah, that means that these characteristics are embedded.
Yes.
Within these.
Within this, the chromosomes.
The chromosomes. Yes. Jazakumullah. Viewers, we'll leave the discussion on this topic here. We'll continue in another episode as our time is up. Jazakumullah for watching Islam and Science on MTA International Africa. We'll come your way again with another episode on genetics and heredity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.